It was pretty amazing, the answers that we were getting from him. I don't think he knows that he's dead.
We couldn't believe what we heard.
My ghost story began when I walked into a cornfield where Allegheny Flight 853 crashed on September 9th, 1969. I had always heard about the Allegheny crash ever since I was in high school. I had never heard of anything so horrific. It boggled my mind that so many people had died in this plane crash. It was the first plane crash I had ever heard about. When I met my husband, it all came back to me when he told me about growing up as a little boy. He had been playing outside when the plane crashed.
A neighbor boy and I were out in our front yard, and we remember hearing a lot of sirens. We didn't know it was a plane crash until my father got home and told us.
The cause of the crash was a mid-air collision. The Cessna flew into the tail end of the Allegheny commercial plane, causing the crash. Rescue people came from miles around. Ambulance people, fire departments, police departments, any volunteers. Hundreds of people showed up. It became a recovery effort. There were 83 people that died. There were no intact bodies to be found. They found most of a body, but the head was missing.
As I looked at the photos in the papers, it seemed like there was different pieces of meat and stuff all around and on the trailers. There was a leg with a foot still attached.
After 3 days, they became worried about the body pieces that were left that couldn't be picked up, causing disease. So they brought in truckloads of dirt, basically bulldozed the field and covered everything over that was left. A few years after we had been married, we started paranormal investigating. We became paranormal enthusiasts.
If you notice, it kind of goes up a hill, a teeny hill, and then goes to a bigger area of the hill. Right there's where they filled in.
We knew the anniversary of the crash was coming up on September 9th, 2009. And I had received a letter from someone that had a loved one that died on the plane. He expressed an interest that if we were going to go out there, he would like to know anything we found. As we were walking out in the field, you just felt something weighing you down.
You could just feel a lot of heaviness. You just felt really uneasy. You knew people have perished out there.
The first thing that happened was we found plane pieces. 40 years later, you're going to find plane pieces in this field. And then the coldness started. This was in July of 2009. The temperature was in the 80s, hot, humid day. Just started getting ice cold down one side.
You knew it was hot out there, and I was sweating a lot, but we was freezing. I believe the cold feeling could be spirits trying to contact us.
There is nothing that could have caused that cold feeling in July. It was just an ice-cold presence down my side.
I believe the cold feeling could be spirits trying to contact us.
My legs are weird over here.
Something's right in here.
We had a voice recorder with us, some dowsing rods. If there's a spirit energy present, they will cross for a yes answer by getting them to spell out names. So we've been able to confirm the names from the passenger list through the dowsing rods. I started asking questions. Was someone here? Rods crossed. Were you going to St. Louis? I asked if it was a male, rods crossed, and I asked if it was female, the rods did not cross. Through those questions with the dowsing rods, I was able to determine that it was a gentleman in his 50s. He had boarded the flight in Cincinnati, was on his way to St. Louis, and I said, I don't think he knows that he's dead.
Several days later, when we went back and listened to the recorder, we couldn't believe what we heard.
Right after I had said, I don't think he knows he's dead, we got the EVP that says, did we crash?
It really made you think, what is going on out there?
our jaws dropped. We weren't expecting to get anything that clear. I thought, oh my goodness, it's 40 years later. What has time seemed like to him? After we heard the EVP, we felt like we really needed to go back to the field again to, number one, see if we could talk to this gentleman some more. Number two, see if we could communicate with any other spirits that might be there.
It seems like each time we went out there, it seems like we was getting more spirits coming to us.
One of them was a stewardess that was on the flight and reading internet postings about the crash. We did determine her name was Patricia. She was supposed to have gotten married within days of that flight. She was very excited about it. Her fiance was a pilot for Allegheny Airlines. He was to have been on that flight also, but got called off to actually fly another plane.
I believe that was a destiny flight. Back then, in 1969, people could give tickets to each other and they could swap seats and stuff.
A lot of people on that flight, they had either missed their connections or they didn't want to wait for their connections. So there ended up being a lot of people on this flight that weren't supposed to be on there originally.
Myself and my wife are still connected to these spirits. Once you've made the first contact with them, they just don't go away.
We feel like there are several spirits that are still there that are trapped. One basically indicated that he fell from the sky. He doesn't want to go back up to the sky. He's afraid of falling again.
We originally started in the cornfield during the day, which worked into the night hours. As we was into the night hours, you would see a lot of orbs. And in the cornfield, my wife became very emotional when she got out there and was talking to Patricia or other people that was on the flight or in the area. She would break down and have a lot of emotional feelings and pain.
These people became so real to us. We spent so many hours in that field over 2.5 months. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting to have that reaction. It's very sad if they don't move on. You're ice cold and it's 90 degrees outside. You know somebody's there. You could feel them standing right beside you.
It was a tragedy. You just can't erase it from your mind. We believe that it'll always be with us.
I've never experienced anything like it in my entire life. If I could talk to these spirits, I would thank them for letting me get to know them and telling me their story, and that I'm so sorry that their life ended the way that it did.